Hello, this is Barney Cargile with your encouraging word for today on Monday, April the 20th, 2020. And my word for today is moment. Specifically, live in the moment. Because if we don't, we basically put ourselves in hell on earth. You know, when my daughter Tiffany was 6 years old, we found out she needed to get a shot at the doctor. And so when we shared that news with her, let's just say it wasn't really well received. She was filled with fretful fear and she fussed and all kinds of things. And all through the afternoon, into the evening and at night and the next morning, we prayed with her and it didn't help. I picked her up after school and took her to the doctor, and our car was just, you could taste the fear and the fussing in the car that was going on, the fret. And so we got to the doctor, and no sooner had we got in than you could hear some little kid in the back room screaming. And Tiffany looks over at me, and I knew exactly what she was thinking. That's going to be me in a few minutes. Well, we go back into the room finally, and this really sweet nurse dabs alcohol on Tiff's arm, and Tiff, managed to moan out one final request. She said, "Please tell me when you're ready to give me the shot." And the nurse kind of chuckled and said, "Sweetie, I already gave you the shot." And a big smile broke out on Tiff's face because she hadn't even felt it. All that fretting and fussing and fearfulness was for nothing, because she wasn't living in the moment. She was projecting something into the future. Now, we can laugh about that with little kids, but how often do we do the same thing? We take some situation that we're afraid of something that might happen, and we project it into the future. And what we really are doing is creating a future without God, because God's in the present. God wants us to live in the moment, each moment. In fact, he tells us in Lamentations that his mercies are new every morning. Every morning when we wake up, God gives us enough grace and mercy to get through that day. In fact, Jesus is very clear. He commands us. This is a command. Matthew 6:34, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will take care of itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Live in the moment. And that's in the Lord's Prayer. What did Jesus say? Give us this day our what? Daily bread. God supplies our needs each and every day, each and every moment of each day. That's why he had the Israelites gather manna. I talked about this in my last encouraging word. He had them gather manna for that day. And if they got more than enough for one day, what happened to it? It spoiled. Every morning he wants them and he wants us to get down on our knees and gather the manna for us spiritually, the manna for that day, because that's where he meets us and supplies our needs. When you live in the moment, everything is well. When you live you start future tripping and getting fretful about what might happen. You know what? You create hell on earth, like my little daughter Tiffany did. But when you live in the moment, think about it. Everything is well. Every moment. Right now, where you are, everything's okay. I started earlier in the week or last week, I started freaking out about what might happen in the future. And the truth is, that's not real. That is not reality. In this moment, I'm okay. I'm not in North Korea. I'm not being tortured. I'm not starving to death. Right now, everything is okay, and that's the only reality that there is. We need to stay in the moment, and when we do, we get to experience a little bit of heaven on earth. We really do. And that is my encouraging word for today. Live in the moment.